Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer, who tells me this is part of the True Stories collection. Amy's graveyard has exactly 7 cards in it, one of which is Centaur Chieftain. If Amy uses Zombify to return Centaur Chieftain to the battlefield, does its threshold ability give her creatures +1/+1 and trample? For this question, I want to build up to the answer by starting with a simpler example. Let's consider if Amy was zombifying a Craterhoof behemoth. We'll go through exactly what happens step by step. First, Zombify returns Craterhoof to the battlefield. Immediately after anything happens in the game checks to see if what just happened matches any trigger conditions of any triggered abilities that exist. Since Craterhoof Behemoth entered the battlefield, that ability will trigger. The last step of an instant or sorcery spell's resolution, after all of its instructions have been performed, is to put it into its owner's graveyard. After that, the game will take any abilities that have triggered and put them onto the stack. The important points to notice are that the game checks to see if an ability is triggered immediately after its trigger condition happens, even though the ability does not go onto the stack until later. An analogy I like to use for this is that the fairies who are in charge of triggered abilities note the Craterhoof Behemoth's ability on their whiteboard when it enters. Then, the game takes all the triggered abilities from the whiteboard onto the stack when a player is about to get priority. Now let's take a look at what we just talked about and apply it to the case from the original problem statement. The sequence is exactly the same. First, Zombify returns the Centaur Chieftain to the battlefield. Then, the game checks if any triggered abilities have triggered. Then, Zombify is put into Amy's graveyard. Can you see the problem? Immediately after Centaur Chieftain enters, the Zombify is still on the stack, meaning that there are now only 6 cards in Amy's graveyard. Because Centaur Chieftain does not have any triggered abilities at the time immediately after it entered the battlefield, its ability will not trigger. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.